Welcome back to WCTV Senior Spotlight Series. I'm Rachel Pellegrino, here joined with Chris Hulse today. He's a sports broadcasting major with a minor in film studies, all the way from Maryland. So what made you choose little old Waynesburg here in Greene County?
So Matt McNeil, who used to work in admissions here at Waynesburg, he made the trek all the way to my very small hometown of Mount Airy, Maryland. He spoke to my graduating class, which I think was like 25 people, about Waynesburg. I mentioned to him that the major I was going to pursue was communications, and he talked to me about the incredible staff we had here, Professor Krause, Melinda, Lanny Fratteri, who of course was a Pirates broadcaster for 33 years, and he offered me the chance to visit the school. I came to Waynesburg on a visit and just fell in love with the atmosphere immediately. I met some people, Ed Diorio, Jack Hillgrove, during that visit. They were super awesome, and I just felt at home the moment I stepped onto campus here at Waynesburg. I did consider a few other schools, but in the end, I don't think I ever really came close to choosing one. Waynesburg was always at the top of my list.
Oh, and then, like I said before, you're a sports broadcasting major with a minor in film studies. So how did you come across both of these together? It's an interesting mix.
Yeah, sports broadcasting was always my first choice. Like I said, Lanny was a huge draw in getting me to come to Waynesburg. I wasn't aware of the film studies program going in, but I've also always had a passion for that. Making movies as a kid is something I did, recreating my favorite scenes from movies, which my parents love to talk about it. I'm sure it's super embarrassing. I don't want anybody to stumble across that footage, but film was always a huge part of my life. And Megan Cook, who graduated from Waynesburg a couple of years ago, she actually went to LA as a part of the film studies program. When she came back, she heard that I was interested, and she was willing to sit down and talk to me about it for hours. And that sort of convinced me to pick up the minor as well, because that was something I wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned, the LA program that Waynesburg does offer, it's a pretty awesome program, and you actually were able to attend it. So could you kind of just explain your experience with that and what you got out of it?
Yeah, so the fall of my junior year, 2019, I decided to drop everything at Waynesburg and take a semester out in LA. I was there for 3 months, and it was the best experience of my life. I made lifelong friends there. So many amazing people, got to do so many cool things, creating short films in Hollywood, attending movie premieres, all sorts of different things. When you're out there, not only do you have a full sort of class workload that you have to do, you're also provided an internship. And I got to intern at Fox Sports Radio in Los Angeles. It was amazing. I can't say enough about it. I can't recommend the program enough. All the lifelong friends I made in LA, I think that's something that's going to stick with me forever.
Wow, and then also in addition to the LA program that you're able to attend, you also are obviously involved in WCTV as a producer of The Woo Effect, WCYJ, Woosin. So can you just talk about your experiences with these throughout Waynesburg and how it's going to affect you in your future career?
Yeah, so with WCYJ as the general manager, it's been super exciting for me this year. Obviously, after accepting the position, COVID-19 hit pretty seriously. We were all sent home, so I didn't have the adjustment time that's normally provided to new GMs to learn about everything I had to do. I sort of had to pick up on it from home. And coming back, all the freshmen, normally you have a meeting at the beginning of the semester. You get to, say hi to all the people you've known before. You get to shake hands with the freshmen and get to interact with them. That wasn't an option that was afforded to us this year. Every meeting we've had has been virtual. A lot of communication has been done through emails. So that's sort of been a struggle, but I'm super grateful to Doug, our faculty advisor, all the students who are involved with radio. They've really been a major help to me in terms of getting that going. And with Woosin, WCTV, that's been a blessing as well. Obviously, as a sports broadcasting major, I love sports, very passionate about it. Getting the chance to announce sports on live TV is incredible. Even just helping out with cameras or audio, which is sort of the lower level stuff that I started doing. I had no experience with any of that coming into Waynesburg. But I had the chance as soon as I stepped on campus. They said, even though you're a freshman, even though you may have no experience, we're going to give you this opportunity. And that, I think, has been an area of real growth for me.
Awesome. And then a big project that you worked on this year was your practicum project with the Election Night Special. Obviously, just talk about how that went for you. It was probably very stressful, I can imagine.
I mean, yeah, I'm so proud of everything that we were able to pull off on election night. Preparation for that started a year in advance. From the time I got back home from Los Angeles to election night, I was working pretty closely with Matt Mansfield, our TV general manager, in preparation for that, even prior to COVID-19. And it took until the very last minute to get everything in place. It was an extremely stressful time, especially the final week. I was probably averaging about 2 to 3 hours of sleep. But, I wouldn't change anything about it. I'm super happy with the way that it turned out. Obviously, you were a part of it. We built graphics for it. We brought in special guests to talk, give their expertise on policy, things like that. It was a late night, but yeah, I absolutely loved everything about it.
Yeah, I think it also turned out really well. Like, you obviously put a lot of work into it, and it benefited from that. Now let's reminisce for a little bit. Let's talk about your favorite, most influential moment at Waynesburg, if you could pick one.
Oh, wow. If I have to narrow it down to one. Going back to freshman year, I remember the first time I was on a radio broadcast. After you do your broadcast as a freshman, you go in, sit down with Lanny, and he'll critique sort of the work that you've done. And he said to me, I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but he basically said that he wasn't expecting much for my first broadcast, just because I didn't have any experience going into it. I'd never done a game before. But he said that he was super impressed with what I was able to do. So that sort of gave me a boost of confidence that I don't think I had, because going in, I didn't expect to be very good. I didn't expect to, sort of stand out. Other people had experience from sports announcing camp or stuff that they had done in high school, and I didn't have any of that. So I think Lanny saying to me, good job, you really impressed me with this, that was sort of a boost of confidence that I needed, and that really got me going.
And then continuing to look back on your past years at Waynesburg, what would you have done differently if you could have?
I mean, looking back, I think I wish that I had gotten more involved earlier. Around my sophomore year, I started to do a lot more in the department, writing for the paper, helping out with specialty shows on radio, working as talent. Freshman year, I think I was just sort of worried about doing that. Like I said, I had no experience. If I could go back and talk to myself, I would say, don't worry about it. The first time you show up on camera, you're going to be bad. The first air shift you have on radio is not going to be your best. Same when you're writing for the paper. Your first article is not going to make the front page, and people aren't going to be coming up and shaking your hand telling you what a great job you did. But it's all about the growth. So I think the earlier you get involved, the better.
And as we discussed earlier, you were involved in a lot of different things in the Department of Communication. So do you have any plans after graduation, and what would that kind of look like going towards radio, TV, film?
So I definitely want to keep my options open. I've been involved with all of them. I love all of them. I could see myself pursuing a career in any of those fields. Obviously with COVID, your options are sort of limited out there right now in terms of where you're going to go with your career. So I'm keeping everything open, but whether it's on air for radio, producing on the TV side, I really don't know, but I'm very excited to see what happens.
Awesome. And then do you have a specific goal that you want to achieve in the next few years after graduation?
I would love to make it back out to Los Angeles. Like I said, it was the most amazing experience of my life. I have friends who are already back out there. I'm dying to see them again. I just can't imagine, going forward in my career without at least making a stop back there.
And then is there something that stands out from you, from the LA experience that you really learned a lot from?
I think, all the people that I met, and that's true of Waynesburg as well, not just with Los Angeles and all the friends I made with Waynesburg, inside of the comm department and out. I'm not very social. I do my best to keep to myself and not bother anybody. But I've made so many friends in my 4 years here, in my time in LA. it's really been incredible. It's something that I didn't expect. It's something that I was super worried about coming into college, but everyone's been so great, and I'm so thankful for it.
Awesome. And I just have one more question left. What are you going to miss from Waynesburg?
I think I'm going to miss the floor, honestly, the most, the fourth floor of Buell Hall, whether in the TV office, Yellow Jacket office, or over in radio, just all the late nights I spent there working, whether it's class assignments or deadlines for, stuff related to WCTV or WCTV. Spending all that time there with people, I think that's where relationships really grow here in the comm department, working alongside everybody. And I've spent so many hours working with people like Drew, Jack, Mitch Montani. Everybody on the floor is so amazing. I think I'm going to miss that the most.
Awesome. And I can speak for the whole department here, most likely, that we're definitely going to miss you and all the work that you've done for us here on the fourth floor of Buell. So thank you for joining me here today, Chris Hulse. And make sure you tune in every week for more senior spotlights on WCTV.